A Michigan police officer is under criminal investigation after he flew a Confederate flag during a peaceful Love Trump's Hate rally in Michigan. Now, this is Officer Michael Peters, and he's not only under criminal investigation, he's also under internal investigation. Apparently, the police chief, Jeffrey O'Brien, is not too happy and doesn't agree with the message of flying a Confederate flag at a peaceful rally. So Jeffrey O'Brien, the police chief, says the following: "I met with him this morning, and I think he understands the ramifications of his actions. I'm not here to judge him. We have a process that we have to go through, and we have to allow that process to be implemented. I'm asking everybody in the community to just be patient and let us do our job." Now, Marshall Collins, who was a rally goer, told CBS affiliate WWTV that he was sitting with a group Friday night when he saw Peters pull up with the Confederate flag waving from his truck, and then he revved his engine. He apparently parked near the rally and then started to drink beer. Peters had displayed the Confederate flag on city property before, and he was asked to not do that again. He was talked to about it, and apparently he did it again in this incident, which is why he's being investigated. Criminal investigation, look, I don't agree with him doing that. I think it's a form of intimidation. You know, you're a cop. You're showing up to a rally flying a Confederate flag. Obviously, this rally is calling into question some of the rhetoric that Donald Trump has used against minorities, specifically black individuals. And, you know, flying the Confederate flag says something. It's a form of intimidation. Now, whether or not this warrants a criminal investigation, I don't know if I agree with that, you know?
You know, I actually kind of disagree with you on this. I think that I really salute Jeffrey O'Brien, the police chief. I think that he did a great job at addressing the community. He says that he has over 100 emails of people demanding the officer's termination. So it sounds like this really did cause an upset in a community that is trying to heal. This was a peaceful rally.
Yes.
They were trying to come together, and then a police officer comes in and clearly takes a side. Now he should just be there to protect the citizens.
No,
and
I agree with you. I
Right.
agree with you 100%. A little more context. He was off duty, and I do not agree with what he did whatsoever. I think it was beyond wrong. I think that, you know, if the police department has a policy, he should definitely face the consequences of that. I know that if I was his superior, I would really call into question whether or not he is, you know, worthy of being a public servant, because as a police officer, you're supposed to protect and serve. And if your community feels intimidated by you like this, then maybe it's not the best role for you. A criminal investigation, I don't know. I mean, there might be a law that I'm unaware of in this area.
There could also be other situations with him before.
Right.
It sounds like there was a little bit of a precedent for him to, I want to say, go against the grain with sort of behavior that is not, you know, to protect and serve, that is absolutely taking a side. And so I think that there might be a little part of the story that the police chief is aware of that maybe we are not yet aware of. But I do hear you on criminal proceedings it is strong, but I think it's important to send a message that they don't tolerate that sort of behavior within their department.
No, I think that's a good message to send. There's no doubt about that. I find it really interesting that, you know, we've done story after story of unarmed people getting shot and killed, and getting a criminal investigation done is like one of the hardest things in the world. And then you have a cop flying a Confederate flag, which, again, for the billionth time, I hope you guys understand that I really mean this, I don't agree with. But then, you know, it seems like they go after him pretty hard for this, which, you know, we'll see how this plays out. But again, if you're a public servant, don't go out of your way to go to a peaceful rally and intimidate people.
Yeah.
And also bring up an issue that a lot of people are traumatized by, that a lot of people are still trying to heal for. So
yeah, and you know, I think it does come down to sort of a case-by-case, department-by-department situation, because you made a really good point, Anna. We've covered a lot of shootings on this show where it seems like it's so difficult to get any justice. And then here we are looking at a very efficient police department they only have 28 other officers. It's a small department, Traverse City. My brother actually lives there. And I think that we are seeing an effective police department. The police chief, reached out to the community and said, I don't condone this behavior, and I've heard you, and we're going to do what we can. And then he also asked for patience, as he said the process sometimes is slow. And so he's explaining the process to the community. I think that's great, and we don't see that in a lot of cases. So when we do, we're sort of like, oh, wow, this is amazing that they're taking action, because we just so often see so much inaction.
Yeah, we're desensitized to inaction.
So I think it's sort of a combination of both.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
The Young Turks isn't just us, it's also you guys. You make this show possible, and we want to thank you for it, and we want to grow together. We want to be too strong. tytnetwork.com/join. Let's do it.